Okay, so this is the Khan Academy. Should be your first question where they give you a focus and they give you a directrix. So your focus that they give you was 9, 0, and then the directrix that they gave you was y equals -4. So if I zoom in on this graph right here, you can see that I've graphed my focus and I've graphed my, my directrix. Keep in mind my graph had to go by 2s just because I didn't have space. So this is also a -2. So using your focus and your directrix, you know that your vertex is right in the middle. So if our focus was at the point 9, 0, and our directrix is the line y equals -4, that means that I'm going to have the same x value for my vertex, and then I'm also going to have just in the middle, so the same distance. So if they were -4, if they were 4 units apart, 2 units apart is where I'm going to put my vertex, so right in the middle. So this is my vertex, and that's going to be the point 9, -2. Now what's nice about this is that this is also your h and your k. So when you go back to your equation, you already have your h and your k, and we can find our p. So that'll be the last thing we need to find. So I'm going to go back to the equation I already have written. And we just found out our h and our k is going to be 9 and -2. So I'm just going to rewrite it. So we have x minus, and our h was 9 squared equals 4p times y minus -2. So that will become a +2. So I'm just going to write that on our next line. Y plus 2. All right, so now we do need to figure out what P equals. Okay, so if you remember that P is the distance between your vertex and your directrix. So for us, our P is -2. So remember that P is the distance between focus and vertex. Or another way to think of it, it's also the distance between the vertex and directrix. It's all symmetric here. So whatever way you're looking, however far apart your vertex to your focus or your vertex to your directrix, that's what your P is going to be. So if I could take a ruler and measure, I can see that it's just one block. So one block down on my graph is 2. So that means that my P is -2 because I went down 2. Okay, so let's go back to our equation. And now we know that our P is -2. So we get that because that's how far down we had to go to get our directrix from the vertex. So our next line is going to look like x minus 9 squared equals 4 times -2 times y plus 2. So you can clean this up and we'll have x minus 9 squared equals -8 times y plus 2. Now specifically for the Khan Academy, they want it to be written as a y equals. So when you do that, you just have to distribute and then subtract and divide. So we would have x minus 9 squared equals -8 y minus 16. You can add your 16, so we have x minus 9 squared plus 16 equals -8y. And then you can divide by -8, or you can just consider it like times -1/8. So we have -1/8 times x minus 9 squared plus 16. So keep in mind that's around everything. That's everything on your left-hand side. You can simplify if you need to, so that -1/8 can stay in the front of my first term. Nothing's really going to go down there. But when I multiply the -1/8 times 16, I do get -2. So when you're writing it into the Khan Academy, they want it as a y equals, probably just to ease the way that it's being typed in. And then for us, we also have our standard form is up here. So this line that I just drew a little star next to. And also after looking at Khan Academy, they're very specific with how they want this typed in. So for instance, this -1/8, they want it like this. So they want your x minus 9 squared over 8 minus 2 equals y. So make sure that you have everything's typed in correctly, you can always just retype it. I'm not going to give you a 0 if it shows a 0. Take the time, really elaborate while you're doing what you're doing so that you can understand it a little bit better.